The man helping educational creators get rich is actually Aidan LeBreche here. And he is currently the host of Synthesizer, and he's been doing this for 1 year now. And back then we were around 10,000 members, and now we're actually at 30,000. And over the time, we made a 350K launch, helping educational creators specifically go from 10K to 100K. And in this video, I'm going to go a little bit more behind the scenes on how I got connected with Aidan, and then through him also to Andrew. Who am I? I'm Lucas Schmidt, and I'm the admin of Synthesizer. And during the launch, I helped with the qualification process, and I also helped with the delivery and building the scaling roadmap up to 100K. And I even interviewed Aidan back in May, and we specifically went into his backstory, the process of creating the best roadmap there is. So, highly recommend the free synthesizer roadmap and his favorite fictional stories. I am a big sucker for these. And Aiden thought it was a blast. He kind of expected me to do some crazy things, jump from the roof, start firing arrows at random passengers. I don't do that. I do some archery during calls sometimes, but I tend to not shoot people. At least not if they don't want to. Uh, and here was actually on the roof, so that was a very fun call. And in this video specifically, we're gonna go behind the scenes on attracting the people for the launch with the community, how we converted them, and then specifically going into the delivery and how it is working with both Andrew and Aiden. So in the attract aspect, it was mostly around the community. We didn't really use that much else. We just had this free community. Andrew has been building this for over 4 years. When we started the launch, it was around 20,000 members. And honestly, just having this free community as a lead magnet where we can like continuously nurture people is just such a huge game changer. And by just being active in there, networking with Aiden was actually how I got into the position to help with the launch. And for the launch, there were specific posts that Aiden was creating, and I just took them from his profile, starting like with a bit of a teaser, going into a little bit more detail, talking more around the backstory, calling out our ideal client, and specifically going into what it would look like, what we can help people with, having some scarcity, having some urgency, and then giving people another guarantee, as well as telling people, hey, these spots are actually going to fill up, and then actually telling people that the spots do fill up, because that was one of the biggest priorities when I started working with Aiden, is that we actually sell out. And in the end, we ended up canceling like multiple calls, because like we wanted to show that like, hey, there is like a lot of demand on that, and then when we open up the calls again, this demand carries over. So when doing a launch, always sell out or don't do a launch at all. And now we are mostly focused on YouTube, and I'm still helping Aiden with the ideation and some of the scripting and some of the thumbnails. And generally, it's just like a pleasure working together. Um, when we look more behind the scenes of Convert, it is mostly what we are already teaching in Synthesizer, the roadmap, but then it goes a little bit deeper. And I'm not going to share anything that is here in scaling. So if you were hoping for that, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm still going to go through some best practices, because generally we always want to spark a conversation in the comments and then start that in continue the conversation in the chats, in the DMs. and qualify people whether they are fit for a call. And this is something that I specifically did while helping during the chat, going through these launch posts up here, seeing who's commenting, who is potentially a good fit, starting a conversation, and trying to save Aiden as much time. So he only talks with the people that we know we can get some really good quality results. And then on the call, the idea is to really think about people's current situation and displaying this as the fire where they absolutely don't want to stay, and painting this picture of this dream vacation where they want to go. And this is the most important thing about the discovery of every call, because we need to really understand where people are, where they want to go, and what is preventing them. What's the gap that they cannot overcome by themselves? And this then becomes the pitch. This becomes the bridge that allows us to get people on the other side. And specifically, the important aspects of the bridge is the transformation. We need to sell a transformation, not just say get fit, but get a six pack. That is a very Boolean transformation that even a child can say this happened or this didn't happen. And then give logical steps on how this can happen, from like, we're going to do an analysis on your current physical exercise, and then I'm going to give you a week by week instructions on how you can exercise. And then once you do have that six pack, we're going to like make sure that you also keep it over time. So there are logical steps in that page that people make like, oh, that makes sense. Because the biggest problem when pitching is that it becomes confusing and we talk about too many things. And this is something that I learned from Aidan, that he's been just drilling into me. And it's like, make it logical, make it simple, make it Boolean, and make sure that there is a specific transformation. And then the biggest aspect, and like, by the way, we also gave people specific sales scripts, which was part of the delivery, because we wanted to make sure that people actually do get the results. And to do that, we started off with a quick win. Because when we have this excitement around this big launch, then people have pretty high expectations. And then the idea is to exceed the expectations even more. So something that we did is we did 3 calls back to back of 8 hours straight, from Thursday to Friday to Saturday, where we really reviewed people's businesses. We went deep into them, and like, these calls were like so valuable to just understand how it what it's like and what it takes to give people a great experience from the start. And then from there, we just continued to over deliver, because that's what deliver is. But we don't just want to deliver on the results. We want to over deliver, go above and beyond what is reasonable to accept. So in addition to just giving people the program and the calls and the support, we also gave them custom posts to do their own launch. We created like customized sales scripts based on their businesses, evaluated different communities that they can potentially join and network in, gave them specific upgrades on their discovery, and diagnosed their constraints specifically, and even gave them their first video that is like was already scripted through. And all of these things we didn't have to do, and we may never do ever again, but we wanted this first launch to be something special where people continue to talk about it again and again and again, because that is how we create a movement. And part of this movement is that no one gets left behind. So this was something that like I just really appreciated about the methodology of both Aiden and Andrew, is they say like, if you actually take the action, then it's unreasonable for you to not succeed. And as you can see on this wall, and there's also the link to that specific post, then you see how many people have actually gotten the results here. And I think this is at the end the most important thing, that we get people the results. And that is the dedication from both Aiden and Andrew. And that's the thing that I specifically learned from them by networking, by getting to know them, and by learning from them that at the end, we really just need to get our clients results, not just the ones that we promised, but even more than that, because that allows us to actually create this movement.